just did my run. I left the building at 9:01. I get back. Big run all the way around town. Where's Derek Carr? Is Derek Carr gonna come back? Who's gonna be Phillip Rivers next year? Tom Brady could have came back like 2 years ago for the Raiders. He didn't. He had no reason to come back. We gotta bait these guys into the playoffs. Yeah. Baltimore never wanted Joe Flacco. I picked up three salads. I got salmon, chicken, and a Greek salad. The Greek has no meat. And, slept good. Nothing going on today. No. Not much. Okay, the Falcons won. What did I say, guys? Take the road team. Falcons won. On the road. I said that. Everybody thinks the home teams are going to be strong this week. Last week there were eight road teams won a game. Is that true? The Steelers won on the road Monday night. I think it was the 9th win. Home teams got busted last week. Yo, what's up? Leave a comment. I'll mix it into my comments. I take off my boots. Listening to this massive Home Depot theft ring busted in Queens.
People have been charged in a 780-count indictment for stealing and fencing more than $2 million worth of goods from Home Depots in New York and 8 other states. The suspects face grand larceny.
You stuff that trash can full of batteries and push it out the back door.
Tools, building supplies, and home goods. Just a fraction of what authorities say was stolen within 13 months.
Stolen products were sold in Queens, the Bronx, and Brooklyn to fences at 50 to 70% of the retail value.
This Home Depot in Flushing was among those targeted. Investigators say the theft crew would meet in East Elmhurst to prepare for the day's hits.
According to the indictment, Armando Diaz would decide on which items to be stolen by the Home Depots by checking their in-store inventory online, sometimes doing the same Home Depot 4 times in one day. The crew stayed connected.
As I said, I was going out
calls while they were in
to
their
get cartridges.
According to authorities, sometimes a member of the crew, as seen here, would provide a distraction so the thieves could leave the store undetected.
Wobbly
The
cam.
says this takedown is based on stronger larceny laws that allowed investigators to combine incidents, turning cases from misdemeanor
White
to felony.
tips.
Since we changed the laws and put money behind this effort, retail theft crimes are
So
down
wobbly. Why you so
14%
wobbly?
in the city and across the state of New York.
11
Why are you so wobbly?
suspects faced a judge yesterday.
The message today is organized retail crime will not go unanswered in this borough.
Police are still searching for
Not
some
in
of the
this
13
borough.
defendants. If convicted, members of the alleged theft crew face up to 25 years in prison. In Flushing, Crystal Fanmore,
This
Channel
is-
7.
Borough.
Police are still searching for one of the 13 defendants. If convicted, members of the alleged theft crew face up to 25 years in prison. In Flushing, Crystal Fanmore, Channel 7 Eyewitness News. Major
Ah. Is that how Eyewitness News ABC starts an episode? Ah. Okay. I can't wait to add that to my next one. Professional news broadcasters going, ah! Did you hear that?
Major bust.
Major bust. Why is my camera so wobbly? Dude, it doesn't. Dude, why are you wobbling? Why you keep wobbling? Just shit still. Knees are cold. My pants on. Put some pants on. Yeah. Check it out. Greek salad. Get the Greek salad. Greek salad. I got the Faro salad. Faro salad. Okay. I got it. Couscous with salmon. I'm eating tonight. These are my pants. Put my pants on. Thriller. It's a wonderful life. They were talking about that on the radio last night. And I just heard about, I was also watching something about it. They filmed it on my street. Everybody's like, hey, this is where they filmed The Hunt. I grew up in that place. And that movie is about not catching yourself in the ride. Why can't the Catcher in the Rye movie be made? Here's my pen. All right. Where's my radio? It's 10 p.m. One-point win. Who's here? How are you doing? I'm good. How are you? I need to paint my face. It's fine. Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins was limited in practice again after a concussion. The NBA late game to Denver, walloping Sacramento, wins for Houston, Milwaukee, and New Orleans. The Braves signed former Padre closer Robert Suarez. Seemed to say. Close. finished. They're trying to figure who the next coach is going to be. We're going to get Bobby Petrino back? Why not, right? Wow. Of course, he'll leave another note in the locker room on his way out. I mean, maybe they could get Lane Kiffin. I don't know. Maybe Kiffin will want to leave to go to the spin the wheel. Come on. This is so incredibly embarrassing for Tampa Bay that now is in second place in the NFC South, and somehow the Carolina Panthers at 7-6 are in first place. They didn't play tonight, and they ascended to first place. I love it. Minus 50-point differential, but we're in their last time out, giving them the edge over the Buccaneers, who fall to 7-7 with the loss tonight. Now, we'll get to just how wide open the playoffs are. Using tonight as an example. I mean, it's gonna really shock you when I tell you just how wide open it is. But we gotta hear Todd Bowles again. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Tampa Bay's head coach. Let's just say that you're not going to be able to follow anything he says, but that's okay because it's still absolutely hysterical. He's asked about the loss tonight against the Atlanta Falcons, and well, let's let Todd Bowles take it away.
Todd Bowles.
Inexcusable if you don't make excuses.
TB gang.
How well do you know your job? How well can you do your job? Well, you can't sugarcoat that. Goes out. Use the bull hand. It's a forward. That's for no excuse for it. That's what you tell them. Inexcusable. Blank. It is blanking. In 26 seconds, we had to bleep him 10 times. That's one every 2.6, 2.7 seconds.
Hey, John Cena's last match tomorrow. Don't miss it.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good clip. I really want to go listen to Lee Ely and Tommy Lasorda and see if that's the same kind of clip for Lee and Tommy. Yeah, I mean, that is a pace that, I mean, it's hard to maintain that pace. Right? Because at some point you realize, well, I'm cursing a lot. Yeah. I'm in front of a lot of people who are now mouths agape with me cursing a bunch. I look resplendent in my Bucko Bruce attire. But, I mean, that can't.
Greasy roller hot dogs.
Right now. We got Prosper. Well, we have a very, very frustrated Baker Mayfield after the loss. Oh, yeah, you like this? Do you think? What's that question, you guys? What the experts fly? Okay. All right, go ahead. Do you think it needs to be bleeped more or less times than you can? Does Baker Mayfield need to be bleeped more or less time than Todd Bowles? I'm gonna get, wow, it's one every 2.7. How many seconds is the soundbite we have from 22 seconds. Ooh, that's tough, man. You gotta get 11 bleeps, and that's one every 2 seconds? I'm gonna say less. I'm still gonna give this a time. I just think the math, it's just not enough time. It's fuzzy math. It's one every 2 seconds. Yeah, I'll take the under. I'm looking at the Lee Ely, and they're saying 50 profane words in about 3 minutes. Oh, yeah, then Todd Bowles had a better rate. Yeah, better rate. Yeah. I mean, he was more efficient with his cursing. More efficient. I'm going to take the under on Baker, but I bet it's close. But remember, Baker was very, very frustrated. Jimmy was the under. He was. I'll take it. Or does he just say, I'm very frustrated? 22 seconds. It's one every 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm still going to take the under. That's a full more than half a second to take the whole have the head on. I mean, that's like the difference between, your time to throw and how quickly you yeah. We got 2.7 seconds. Right, Davis Mills is like 1.6, and your highest is about 2.6. 22 times. That would be something.
Andy Dalton has the quickest release. Are the Falcons still in the playoffs? No, they're eliminated. Oh, no, the Falcons are eliminated. You want to buy Pokemon cards? People, you want a people pokey? Did they just say that? Did they just say that? Thinking about grabbing that razor again. Gee, with the razor. Hit the vape, Ted. Okay. Okay. Two identical flavors. Two different pens. One pen never produces the same size cloud. So who gonna win? It would be the Morty pen or the green pen. I think I'll get a bigger hit off the Morty pen, but we're gonna hit the green pen first. To the Morty. No surprise, getting the same flavor. And Morty didn't want to fucking hit. Morty didn't want to hit. The green pen wins. And Morty's saying, charge me. Fucking Morty. It just did charge you. And the comments are piling up. Yo, from the Tutster 619. Don't break my neck, man. The 619. Rey Mysterio should go to jail for that shit. Where's my charger? There it is. Yo. All right, that's just charging. Got stuff all around me. Damn. Gonna look at the hockey scores. Well. Blankety blank. The Penguins lost. Pittsburgh's lost. Let's look at the standings. Last I saw, they had 35 points. They still got 35 points. Oh, the Kings got 36. Whoa, the Kings are better. Now, the Kings have played one more game. They have one more point. The Penguins at 29 points. The Penguins have played, on average, 2 games less than every team. So, let's just pencil those in as victories. And they should have 39 points, which would make them the 5th best team in the league. So, it's close. It's fucking this close. And I don't think they were even in the playoffs last year, so they're in the top 5, low key. They've had some bye weeks. Expect a big Penguin June. Penguins in the summer. What? Yeah, okay. I said it. So So set it and forget it. Penguins in the playoffs. Penn State in the Pinstripe Bowl versus Clemson. Are they going to trade Joe Burrow? Anthony Davis is going to be the big trade next. Kevin Durant. It could be a three-way trade but I don't think so. The Warriors play tomorrow. Should I look at the NBA standings and see? Yeah, we'll take a look. It's 10 o'clock at night. All the games have ended. Yeah. Who beat Oklahoma City? I don't remember. How the Pacers be so trash. Poor Utah Jazz not going to make the playoffs. Is there a flag? A flag. Is that a Montenegro flag? Montenegro made me famous. Right? Think about Montenegro every day. These NBA standings. Golden State is 10 games back of the first place Thunder. That's not very bad, considering that the Thunder are 24-1. The 19-15 Pacers only have a 9.5 game lead on the 11th seed Bulls. So the Bulls are closer to the Pistons made me famous. Yeah, Montenegro made me famous. Should I? I'm going to look at the Montenegro news, which I don't do on my laptop very often, so it's not. There's no shortcut on my desktop. Anytime last 24 hours, right? Here's an update on a story that I've been following for 5 years. Crypto mogul Do Kwon sentenced to 15 years in prison for his stable coin fraud. Portugal is on strike. Did they really just finish that trial today in Montenegro? They were going to expedite him so he could cash out in some other country, but well, was the richest person in Montenegro. He gets 15 years in jail. It's a United States court, U.S. federal court on Thursday. So this is news today. I'm not late. Good follow through. Thanks for the reminder. You apply pressure on the map just enough to keep me funneled. Cam Newton should, if Phillip Rivers can come back, how come Cam Newton can't come back? They're letting 44-year-old dudes play quarterback. Where's Derek Carr? Where's Derek Carr? You washed ass. Take your soldier. How old is this motherfucker, dude? He ain't even 40. Sorry. Born in 91. He's like 30, 35. We bring Jamarcus Russell back. Because Derek's not ready. We need Jamarcus Russell. An embarrassment to football. Thank you, Fresno State. Count my cigarettes. We're good. I'm not going out. So what quarterbacks do I need? I'm looking for retired quarterbacks under 40. Who can I pull out of my ass? Colin Kaepernick? Absolutely. It'd be awesome. Every team's most hated quarterback. Do the Rams have a hated quarterback? Jared Goff, maybe? Pat Hayden. The Rams don't have hated players. There's nobody on the Rams you hate. Desmond Ritter. Dorian Thompson Robinson. Jack Plummer. I guess I actually have to look at college football schedule. Schedule. Army, Navy, Saturday. Okay. Nothing today. Who plays after the Army, Navy game? On the same day, Boise State and Washington at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. But it's how the fuck are they doing that? Okay, after the Army Navy game, we get the Boise State at Washington in the Rams Inglewood Stadium. But that's not Troy at Jacksonville in Alabama. Tuesday's a good day for a game. Then a Wednesday game. Two games on Wednesday. Delaware. There's two games in Alabama. On 16, but it's not Alabama or Alabama Stadium. Two bowl games in Alabama. So 4 teams in town. Alabama is playing Oklahoma in 9 days. Who do I got? I don't know. I really have to investigate. They're playing in Oklahoma. I probably think Oklahoma should win. The line is Alabama 1.5. Miami at Texas A&M is the game to go to at a College Station. Kyle Field. Number 10 Miami on the road in Texas. Michael Irvin will be there. What states are really rookie? Carolina, Tennessee. Seeing things. So many goddamn games. Just want to look at this week. Don't worry about next week. (13, 16, 17). Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, Thursday during Monday Night Football. Missouri State is at Arkansas State. There is no game during Monday Night Football. So they play on during Thursday. Friday is 3 games. Playoffs. Playoffs start next week. Do I think that Phillip Rivers? I hate Phillip Rivers. I hate that dude. I've seen him play in person, and he beat the Bengals, and it was a snowstorm, and all I had was a bag of peanuts. Because the person who had a seat next to me didn't want to sit next to me, and they just gave me their peanuts and walked away. Great. Peanuts kind of kept me warm. Who the hell eats peanuts in a snowstorm? Come on. Oh, that's all. You have what you have. You live off what's in front of you. I don't buy peanuts in San Francisco. I could be in here cracking open peanuts all day. Good, I want to shave my chin some more. I will. I'll get to that. Let me count my likes. How many likes do you think this episode's got? 2 likes. Thank you. Let's look at the analytics. Listen to the radio again.
They've got a good run defense that can contain Cook and Allen to a degree, and they've got a good run game of their own that they can bludgeon.
70 views.
Soft Buffalo squad, middle of the pack. Now, is it a coin toss? Yeah, because I still have Trevor Lawrence has to make a play for me somewhere, and I'm feeling better about it with Jacoby Myers and Brenton Strange back in the house. Yeah, although it's Strange, you kind of hit the skids the last week or two, but Myers is coming on. Like he's that acquisition there. Yeah, I didn't think he'd have that. It's really hard sometimes for a receiver to get in. else there you have to worry about? Well, Travis Hunter got hurt. Thomas has been in and out of the lineup.
I've seen the doorbell capture
And
gas explosion in Hayward.
to at least have a guy that, A, wants to be there, B, wants to prove some memory. He had that trait B signed out instead of his own surname for weeks there. Because the Raiders, it's hard to see guys that are just mailed it in, decided they're done, all of a sudden now I'm great. Yeah, I'm going to try it. Leave Randy Moss alone. Like we said, Raiders. Common ground, see? We have seen it with George Pickens this year when he wants to play. That happens. Yeah, be careful down the stretch here now. But I know I'd take the Bills.
Travis Kelce will be a free agent. He could sign with any team.
There's not a ton of people left even 2 years ago that had that big win over the Chargers. So yeah.
If Travis Kelce wasn't,
Chargers, so Frostberg's back.
he's the best thing you can do is to retire a free agent and cherry pick who you play for next December. Go into business for yourself. I was watching 2004 NFL preseason today. It was Phillip Rivers' first ever snaps. I go to Japanese style convenience stores every day. But I didn't today. I walked right by it. The most detestable stores in all of California, the Japanese convenience. Yes, the 7-Eleven. It's inexcusable to die of old age. Like most of our celebrities are in their 80s. Most football legends, they're not even 80. It's inexcusable to be successful and to die. Dan Fouts is so fucking old. The dude's fucking old. But he's not old. He's 74. And you have as much money as an NFL owner. And these owners, NFL owners, they'd be like 90. They'd be like, and when they die at 90, they're still married. And then their younger spouse who's like just 2 years, they're at the same age. They go for so long. It's amazing how the oldest people have the best jobs. "74 years old, Dan Fouts." It was sad when he retired. I think it was a little confused in mid '85. It was pathetic. He was wild. The Chargers, blowhards. Is Kirk Cousins going to play the rest of the year with? Kirk Cousins has more touchdowns than Warren Moon now. I don't click too much on Newsweek. I got baited by an article. Ejabated. The Buccaneers in their creamsicle uniforms. Oh, those fans were coordinated, had coordinated outfits, and that's when you sucker them in and you beat them. The 49ers have one of their best outfits this week. It's the best time to beat them because they're not wearing white. There's no white. What the hell is that? A bus crashes into scaffolding in Manhattan. Driver injured. That play was horrible. No. Dak is top 5 QB. To be realistic, Dak is still better than Brock Purdy and all that. Yeah, that's right. Dak is healthy. Dak will be back. Should Dak rest most of the year? Maybe. If Dak, would you rather bring in Phillip Rivers or Dak Prescott? If he could be a free agent. Every team's dream is to bring in somebody like Dak Prescott to play in December in the playoffs. I mean, you plug him and play. Yes, he's worth a first-round draft pick. If you need a quarterback, but the Cowboys aren't going to give him up. Maybe I would love to have Dak on my team. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody, if they're on par. Jalen Hurts and Dak are on par. They're nearly equals. So they deserve to go out to get, like, when they're tired of playing each other, they have to play each other more. But I would still take Dak over Jalen. Saquon Barkley was the MVP, not Jalen. But you're not going to steal from Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts belongs where he is, and Dak belongs where he is. And there's no job opening for your scrub ass, draft pick so. I don't think a lot of teams, like the Colts, wouldn't want to bring in Jalen Hurts, but they would want to bring in Dak. So you wouldn't want to bring in a Brock Purdy. Maybe a Mac Jones. You'd actually, I'll take Mac Jones. That's what the Colts would be like. Yeah, we'll take Mac Jones. Brock Purdy belongs in San Francisco as much as anybody can belong. The city owns this dude. Okay. You're never gonna separate Joe Burrow from the Bengals. They can talk all this thing about does Burrow want to be in Cincinnati, and Nick Bosa is probably going back to Cleveland. Okay. Nick Bosa wants to play in Ohio State. He just does. He's not going to be welcome on the Bengals most likely, but maybe the Niners can trade. We can get Myles Garrett next year for Nick Bosa. So, come on, Teddy. Jalen Hurts would fit on the Colts. Would he? Nobody fits indoors. You cannot plug and play any outdoor quarterback into an indoor situation. You can't do it. You can't do it. The place is played out. Everybody's going to see this new. Everybody's going to play for the Titans in 2 years because they have a better stadium right next to Indianapolis. You're gonna laugh. Oh, look at that old Lucas Oil sucks. It's nice now, but you just wait. You wait until the Tennessee stadium opens up. Nobody. Still, Buffalo kind of fucked up. No roof. They just fucked up in Buffalo. They have no wind. They say that there won't be any wind. So the snow's just going to come in and sit and not move. There's piles of snow and no wind. So you get brilliant. They'll have to bring in some snow blowers. I'm sure the field is heated. The Giants are going to win when they open that stadium. That's my prediction. If they played Teddy Bridgewater, the Bucks would have won. But hey, you lean too heavily on Baker Mayfield as a top tier competitor when your team is barely 500. You're just gonna expose Baker. Yeah. Baker's a choker. Baker is the biggest. If you want to know, not Dak Prescott. Yeah. Baker doesn't even belong in Tampa. Baker wishes he was still a Ram. Baker's base bet is to take a year off and be healthy as a free agent in December. He should go play minor league baseball because he's such a bum. Isn't he from Alabama? I mean, most Alabama quarterbacks are some bum ass, low intellect. Just look at me, I can throw a ball full of air. Quarterbacks throw balls full of air. Remember that? Quarterbacks are they throw to their own guy. See, they're like a pitcher. See, the pitcher they're not like a pitcher. A pitcher throws past the opponent. The catcher throws straight back to his own guy. The catcher never has to worry about his opponent interfering with the throw. See, a quarterback only throws to somebody who's open. There's not supposed to be a guy there trying to hit home runs off air. You can get a nice position and stop some throws, but you're not throwing. A quarterback is like a catcher. They throw the ball back to the pitcher. And the pitcher is the wide receiver. He has to get past the defense. Okay? We have it backwards. The quarterback's job is easy, and the quarterback doesn't do anything. Brock Purdy, they say he's better at scrambling than Joe Burrow. It took Purdy 3 years to have a 10-yard run. People mistake a Brock Purdy 19-step rollout as scrambling. See, it's not scrambling. He's just so slow with his little legs that he runs backwards and it's like he's scrambling. No, he's just doing his rollout. Or he's throwing that Derek Carr, throwing to the hash marks. Wow, what an incredible pass down to the same place that everybody, 10 yards down the field, middle of the hash, no look. Dude, I swear I'm dropping subs. This just says 1591, but live it says 1695. Family sues Royal Caribbean for serving 33 drunks to an inebriated patient who later died and is on the boat. Ooh, I should click on that. Why is Microsoft News so damn good? Curated by Copilot. Buy 3 tires, get 1 free. That's exactly the pop-up I'm looking for. Oprah Winfrey sells 4-acre Montecito estate for $17.1 million. 97 Christmas gifts for this 2025. Thanks, Atlanta. New York Jets NFL vintage team sage green veterans honor the fallen American flag pattern. Pretty. A little overdose on the graphic. Who do you have, pockets or something? Should Joe Burrow go to the Rams? Yeah. Willie? Nah. When the Bengals are still in position to win the damn would I play Joe versus the Ravens? Hell yeah. Joe's playing this week. We got that Lamar Jackson on-off switch. I want to hit off one more time. Who's Joe Burrow play after next week? Double check. The Dolphins. Hell yeah, I want go down to Miami and fucking beat the Dolphins with Joe Burrow. Then the Dolphins can handle that. Okay. So we got Jackson, Tagovailoa, Kyler Murray coming to Cincinnati. The final week of the season, Shedeur Sanders into the Browns. Burrow versus Shedeur Sanders. If Burrow doesn't play those games, he may never. What team are those? All AFC teams? If he switches over to the NFC, he's never going to see these guys again. Plus, Matthew Stafford is still healthy. Who does Matthew want to go play for next year? I think Matthew's very happy as a Ram. Okay. The Cardinals are an NFC team. They're the only NFC team left that the Bengals have. Has Joe Burrow ever played the Cardinals? He's undefeated versus the Cardinals. Woo! No problem. Double check. Do I need to crank up my radio? Nope, not yet. $82 views at 58 minutes. Drew Brees wishes he learned how to throw with his left hand. He'd still be playing. It'd be awesome if a quarterback could throw with both hands. It'd be nearly impossible to cover. But training your receivers to catch the ball with, like, it's hard. It's hard. I think some left-handed quarterback, you don't even realize they're left-handed. I'm on the left-handed quarterback's Wikipedia page. Dylan Gabriel, Cleveland Browns, left-handed. Michael Penix Jr., Atlanta Falcons, left-handed. Tua Tagovailoa, left-handed. There's 3 left-handed quarterbacks. I like to eat with my left hand. Use my fork with my left hand. Use a knife with your right hand. This Dictator Files Dark Sides of Power good channel. I wonder what they posted today while I was sleeping. When the world discovered that Chairman Mao was a dictator, was the last thing I saw. Mao Zedong, The Rise of the Dictator, 2 hours ago. Let's listen to the best AI.
Found in corruption. Local uprisings ignited and died out like sparks on dry grass. In Mao's village, survival wasn't a dream. It was a daily negotiation with hunger. His father, Mao Yichang, was a hard, brutal man, a small farmer who clawed his way out of poverty and never forgave anyone still stuck in it. He beat his sons. He terrorized his family. Mao grew up studying domination at the dinner table. Outside the home, the world taught him the same lesson. Rebels marched through Hunan. Bandits raided roads. Militias recruited children. The imperial system that once controlled China now controlled nothing. While other boys prayed to ancestors for protection, Mao read stories about rebels who smashed emperors, water margin, romance of the three kingdoms, not heroes of virtue, heroes of conquest. By the time he reached his teens, the Boxer Rebellion had exploded. Imperial troops collapsed under foreign firepower. 8 nation armies entered Beijing with almost no resistance. Historian Jonathan Spence later wrote that China at this time trembled on the edge of disintegration. Mao watched that trembling up close, and instead of
when the
fear,
legs go.
he felt curiosity. In 1909, Mao left home to study. He bounced between schools, teachers' college, military drill groups, radical student circles. He questioned everything: teachers, textbooks, tradition itself. His restlessness wasn't rebellion. It was calculation. He saw the Qing Empire leaking power from every crack. He saw peasants crushed by landlords. He saw officials take bribes openly. He watched village courts collapse into chaos. And then, 1911, the Wuchang Uprising. Revolution spreads like wildfire.
Wuchang Uprising.
Province after province secedes. The dynasty falls within weeks. China celebrated the end of imperial rule. Firecrackers, parades, hope. But Mao didn't
At
celebrate.
14. Mao was 14 in
Watched quietly.
1911.
Measured the moment. Measured the power vacuum forming in front of him. The empire had died. The republic was fragile.
So
Chaos.
So they're saying 1914 Mao is 14. No, is that right? 1911 Mao is 14. He sees power vacuum, and he can fill it for 65 years at the top. Once
was
again.
becoming permanent. For Mao Zedong, this was the perfect education. When the Qing dynasty fell, millions hoped the republic would save China. It didn't. It cracked instantly. Warlords carved up provinces. Generals switched sides for Beijing changed rulers like seasons. Mao entered this world as a wandering young man with no clear future, only hunger for purpose. He trained briefly with a local militia, quit, studied teaching, quit,
What a quitter.
tried government work, quit again. He wasn't lost. He was searching. In Changsha, he found the Hunan Library, a dusty refuge
got a blinker.
where he discovered
Now this one
radical
does-
writers.
Mother.
Chen Duxiu, Li Dazhao, the New Culture Movement. They attacked Confucian obedience. They attacked arranged marriages, blind tradition, and imperial nostalgia. They demanded a new China built on science and revolution. Mao didn't just read their words, he absorbed them like fuel. He organized student protests. He wrote fiery articles. He drilled young recruits in paramilitary
That's why he's the
exercises
goal.
behind school buildings.
The goal!
Some teachers warned he was becoming dangerous. They were right. In 1918, he left for Beijing. Not as a leader, as a library assistant earning pennies. But the position placed him in the heart of China's new radical circles. He met Li Dazhao, one of China's first Marxists. Li's message hit Mao like a hammer. History wasn't guided by harmony. It was guided by class struggle. Mao carried that idea like a weapon. In May 1919, students erupted across China in the May 4th movement. They denounced the government. They burned Japanese goods. They demanded revolution. Mao wasn't in Beijing during the peak protests, but he turned Hunan into his battlefield. He printed pamphlets. He organized strikes. He called for the destruction of old thinking and old elites. Historian Philip Short later wrote that Mao's political awakening contained the embryo of the autocrat he would become. The embryo was growing fast. By 1920, Soviet agents were looking for Chinese revolutionaries. They didn't want intellectuals. They wanted fighters, people willing to tear down a country to rebuild it. Mao fit the mold. He began organizing labor unions in Changsha. Workers were beaten, arrested, threatened. Mao pushed them harder. In July 1921, in a small house in Shanghai, 13 men formed the Chinese Communist Party. Mao Zedong was one of them. Still young, still unimportant, but already more ruthless than most understood. The party wanted equality. Mao wanted something else. Revolution wasn't his dream. It was his instrument. The united front between communists and nationalists was never built on trust. It was a marriage of enemies, held together only by fear of warlords. By 1926, the alliance was cracking. Chiang Kai-shek watched the communists grow inside his army, inside his cities, inside his unions. He didn't see partners. He saw infiltration, and Mao saw opportunity. He organized peasants in Hunan with ferocity. Landlords were humiliated in speak bitterness meetings. Courtyards filled with beatings and executions. Revolution was no longer theory. It was violence unleashed. Some communist leaders begged him to slow down. Mao refused. He believed terror proved commitment. In Shanghai, strikes paralyzed the city. Communist cells.
Oh damn, a bunch of guys got wiped out trying to take over their country today. A moment of respect for the French defenders who shot them up. France was getting that action today.
Rose up to help Chiang's army enter the city. They expected gratitude. They received machine guns. On April 12, 1927, Chiang Kai-shek ordered the slaughter. Union leaders dragged into alleys. Workers shot at point-blank range. Bodies dumped into the Huangpu River. The streets ran with the blood of the very people who had delivered him victory. Mao watched the news in shock,
Los Angeles is a
but
loud...
not surprise. He had predicted betrayal. He simply underestimated the scale. Historian Rana Mitter later wrote that the Shanghai Massacre taught Mao the revolution would survive only if it learned to purge without mercy. That lesson carved itself into Mao's bones. Communists fled for their lives. Leaders vanished. Cells collapsed. A movement became a hunted tribe. And Mao understood something permanent. If a rival could betray you, you should destroy him first. Mao survived the slaughter and learned to copy it. The communists fled into the mountains of Jiangxi, broken, hunted, desperate. But Mao saw more than a refuge. He saw a laboratory for power. Here, far from party oversight, he built his own state, his own army, his own rules. Villagers were forced into land reform. Landlords dragged out for struggle sessions. Some executed publicly. Some buried alive.
Struggle
Some
section.
simply vanished.
Oh, session?
Mao's message
Struggle
was simple.
session.
Obey the revolution or feed it. But the real terror came inside the party. Rivals questioned his strategies. They criticized his brutality. They asked why so many peasants were dying. Mao answered with the Fujian Purge. He accused an entire division, thousands of Red Army soldiers, of plotting against him. Most had no idea what they were accused of. Some begged. Some resisted. Most were tortured until they confessed to crimes no one could prove. Then they were executed. Mass graves dug in mountain soil still hold their bones. Historian Timothy Cheek later wrote that Mao's rule in Jiangxi showed a leader willing to eliminate comrades as readily as enemies. Jiangxi wasn't just a Soviet. It was Mao's first kingdom built on fear. He
Jiangxi.
tightened control over food, over movement, over speech. Cadres whispered carefully. Officers slept with loaded pistols. No one knew who might disappear next. And outside Jiangxi, Chiang Kai-shek closed in.
Oh, I wish he
Campaign
won.
after campaign. Encirclement tightened
What would be on his side?
like a noose. Mao's response wasn't retreat. It was more purges, more executions, more suspicion. Everyone was a potential traitor. Everyone was expendable. By 1934, the walls closed in. Jiangxi was doomed. But Mao had already proven what kind of leader he intended to be. Revolution was optional. Obedience was not. The Red Army was dying in Jiangxi. Starved, surrounded. Chiang Kai-shek's encirclement was too tight to break. So Mao chose the unthinkable, a retreat across the spine of China. Not a march, a gamble with death. 86,000 men set out. Most would never return. They marched through mud that swallowed boots, across grasslands that hid disease. Over mountains so high, soldiers coughed blood. Battles were constant. Food was rare. Desertion became a silent epidemic. Mao stayed near the front, cold and relentless. Every hardship became propaganda. Every corpse became a lesson. He said the march was destiny, but destiny was selective. Along the way, communist leaders argued, blamed each other for failures, accused each other of arrogance and incompetence. At the Zunyi Conference in January 1935, the fighting stopped long enough for a political purge. The party reviewed every disaster, every broken strategy, and Mao struck. He attacked the leadership, claimed they had led the revolution to the edge of extinction. He presented himself as the only one who understood war and survival. Historian Edgar Snow later recorded that Zunyi elevated Mao from one voice among many to unquestioned commander. It wasn't a debate, it was a takeover. From that moment, Mao led the march and the party itself. But the march didn't get easier. Entire regiments disappeared. One crossing over the Dadu River turned into a slaughter. Another at Looting Bridge became mythologized. But even myth couldn't hide the bodies left behind. By the time they reached Shanxi, fewer than 10,000 remained. Mao called it victory, a miracle, proof of his destiny. But look closer. The Long March wasn't designed to save the Red Army. It was designed to save Mao. He arrived in Yan'an as the sole survivor who mattered. A march of survival. And Mao was the only one meant to survive. Yan'an was barren, caves carved into yellow cliffs, wind that cut the skin, a place for fugitives, not leaders. But Mao didn't see exile. He saw a blank canvas. The Red Army, starving, wounded, traumatized, gathered around him. He fed them stories of triumph. He called the Long March a legend. He rewrote disaster into destiny. Slowly, the caves turned into classrooms of obedience. Writers arrived. Students arrived. Young idealists who believed they were building a new world. Mao would reshape them first. In 1942, he launched the Rectification Campaign, China's first mass thought reform movement. At first, it looked like study sessions, reading groups, self-criticism. Then the doors closed. Interrogations began. Sleep deprivation. Solitary confinement. Confess your incorrect thinking. Confess your bourgeois tendencies. Confess your doubts about Mao. Some confessed everything. Some confessed nothing. Some didn't survive to confess at all. Historian Yang Jisheng later wrote that Yan'an was where Mao learned the effectiveness of fear as a tool of governance. And Mao used that tool relentlessly. Poets suddenly praised him. Teachers quoted him. Cadres repeated his words before sleep. Even personal lives were fair game. Marriages approved or rejected by the party. Affairs exposed in self-criticism circles. A world where intimacy became ammunition. One young writer, Wang Shui, criticized party privilege. Within weeks, he was denounced, arrested, later executed. A warning carved into the soil of Yan'an. Thought could kill. Doubt could kill faster. By 1940, Mao sat alone at the top. Every rival broken. Every critic silenced. Every idea funneled through him. Yan'an looked peaceful from a distance. Lanterns glowing against cave walls. Songs about revolution drifting across the valley. But walk inside any cave, and you felt it instantly. Under Mao, even thoughts could betray you. Japan invaded with tanks, planes, and fire. Cities burned. Millions fled. China fractured under a new, merciless enemy. To the outside world, the communists and nationalists were allies again, a united front against Japan. But Mao had no intention of fighting one war when he could fight two. His true battlefield wasn't the Japanese lines, it was China itself. The CCP expanded into the countryside, building bases in villages no one defended. They recruited peasants with promises of land, then controlled them with rules enforced by fear. The Japanese preferred to attack cities and major routes. Mao preferred to avoid them entirely. While nationalist armies faced annihilation in Shanghai and Wuhan, Mao's forces grew in the shadows. Historian Odd Arne Westad later wrote that Mao husbanded his strength, saving his forces for the civil war he knew would follow. He was already planning the next enemy, Chiang Kai-shek. Inside the communist zones, discipline hardened into repression. Suspected spies were bound, interrogated, buried alive. Families destroyed by a single accusation. Villagers forced to inform on neighbors. Children taught to report their parents. The Japanese threat gave Mao cover. Every purge became security. Every execution became protection. Meanwhile, Mao stripped power from rivals. Zhou Enlai sidelined. Peng Dehuai monitored. Wang Ming broken under pressure and illness. Mao didn't just command the battlefield, he commanded fear. And while China bled under the Japanese bayonet, Mao preserved his army, stronger, more disciplined, more loyal. By 1945, Japan surrendered. Cities cheered. Villagers wept. But Mao felt something else. Opportunity. The foreign enemy was gone. The internal enemy remained. And Mao had been preparing for this moment for 8 long years. For Mao, the enemy was anyone he couldn't control. Japan's surrender ended one war and instantly ignited another. The nationalists returned to their cities. The communists returned to their mountains. Both sides knew peace was a lie. The real fight, the final fight, was beginning. Mao didn't waste time. He unleashed land reform across the countryside. Cadres entered villages with lists of class enemies. Landlords dragged into courtyards. Families accused of exploitation. Some beaten, some shot, some hacked to death by mobs forced to participate. This wasn't justice. It was terror calibrated for political gain. The violence welded peasants to the party. Blood was the contract. Historian Frank Decoder later wrote that these early land campaigns turned the countryside into a permanent theater of fear. Fear was the soil Mao planted his revolution in. Meanwhile, the nationalist government imploded. Inflation exploded. Soldiers deserted. Officials hoarded gold. Chiang Kai-shek ruled a collapsing state. Mao watched patiently, then struck with overwhelming force. Campaign by campaign, the Red Army annihilated nationalist divisions. In Manchuria, whole armies surrendered. In Shandong, guerrillas became unstoppable regiments. By 1948, the communists weren't the underdogs. They were the hunters. Every victory fed the cult. Every photograph showed Mao calm, prophetic, inevitable. By 1949, Chiang fled to Taiwan. His capital fell. His armies broke. His cause died. And Mao? Mao prepared for his moment. On October 1st, 1949, he stood atop Tiananmen Gate, looked down on a sea of faces, fearful, hopeful, uncertain, and declared the birth of the People's Republic of China. The crowd erupted, firecrackers, flags, tears. But behind the celebration was a darker truth. The man rising to power had built his revolution on purges, terror, hunger, and blood. China had a new ruler, a new era, a new beginning. And the fear that shaped Mao's rise.
1 hour, 22 minutes, and 21 seconds. 1. End. At Chi-MOC 5Z High. At Chi-MOC 5Z, how are you doing? At Chi-MOC 5Z, this side it's 8 o'clock. Teddybelcher 4 Culture-wide love those Panthers. At Teddybelcher 4 Culture-wide Coach TV. At Tutster 619 Yo. At Tutster 619 Yo.
Look for Shanghai check next.